Have you ever wondered what actually happens inside your body the moment you stop eating sugar? Not just the cravings everyone talks about, but the real, measurable changes happening in your brain, your blood, your skin, and even your mood. Well, in this video, we're going to walk through exactly that, hour by hour and week by week. And by the end, you'll understand why the first few days are brutal, and why almost everyone who pushes through says the same thing, that they can't believe they waited this long. Stick around until the end, because the changes that show up around week 3 genuinely surprise most people. So, let's get into it. Sugar is everywhere, hiding in foods you wouldn't even suspect: bread, salad dressing, pasta sauce, and of course anything sweet. The average person consumes far more added sugar than they realize, and the body has quietly adapted to running on that constant supply. When you suddenly remove it, you're not just changing your diet, you're changing your body's entire fuel system, and that shift doesn't happen quietly. Some of the effects show up almost instantly, while others take weeks to fully unfold. Some research suggests the average adult consumes around 17 teaspoons of added sugar a day, more than double what health organizations generally recommend, which gives you a sense of just how big of an adjustment this really is for your body. So let's start right at the beginning, the first 24 hours. Within the first few hours of cutting sugar, your blood sugar levels begin to stabilize instead of spiking and crashing throughout the day. Normally, every time you eat something sugary, your pancreas releases a burst of insulin to bring your blood sugar back down. And this creates that familiar roller coaster, a quick high followed by an energy crash an hour or two later. The same crash that usually sends people reaching for another sugary snack just to feel normal again. Once sugar is removed, that roller coaster starts to flatten out. But here's the catch: your brain doesn't like this change one bit. Sugar triggers the release of dopamine, the same feel-good chemical involved in other pleasurable and even addictive behaviors. And when that dopamine supply is suddenly cut off, your brain starts sending out urgent signals demanding more. This is why the first day often comes with intense cravings, a nagging voice in your head convincing you that just one small treat wouldn't hurt. Some people also report a mild headache within the first 12 to 24 hours, caused by the sudden change in blood sugar regulation. On top of that, your energy might actually feel slightly worse before it feels better, since your body hasn't yet adapted to pulling energy from fat stores instead of quick sugar. By day 2 and 3, things tend to get harder before they get easier. This period is often referred to as the sugar flu, and for good reason. The symptoms can genuinely feel like a mild version of being sick. Fatigue sets in, along with irritability, brain fog, and sometimes even nausea. And for some people, even mild muscle aches, similar to what you might feel when coming down with an actual cold. Your body has spent years relying on quick sugar hits for fast energy, and now it's being forced to relearn how to burn fat and stored energy more efficiently instead. This metabolic switch takes real time and effort at the cellular level, and until your body adapts, you'll likely feel more tired than usual, even after a full night's sleep. Many people give up right here, at the exact point where the discomfort peaks, without realizing they are only a day or two away from it easing significantly. It's a bit like the 40% rule you might have heard about in other areas of discipline. The moment things feel unbearable is very rarely the moment your body has actually run out of options. Around day 4 through 7, most people notice a real turning point. The intense cravings that felt impossible to ignore start to lose their grip, simply because the dopamine spikes tied to sugar are no longer being reinforced multiple times a day. Your taste buds also begin a quiet transformation during this window. Believe it or not, taste buds regenerate roughly every 1 to 2 weeks, and without a constant flood of sugar, they become significantly more sensitive. Foods that once tasted bland, like fruit or plain oatmeal, start to taste noticeably sweeter and more flavorful. And even simple things like a sliced apple or a handful of berries can suddenly feel like a genuine treat instead of a consolation prize. This is one of the most surprising effects for most people, because it means your relationship with food is fundamentally shifting at a biological level, not just a mental one. Many people describe this stage as the moment sugar-free eating stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like an actual upgrade to how food tastes. By the second week, energy levels usually stabilize in a way that feels completely different from before. Instead of the up and down roller coaster of sugar highs and crashes, you start to experience longer, steadier stretches of consistent energy throughout the day. This happens because your body has become noticeably better at using fat as a fuel source instead of depending on a constant stream of quick sugar. Sleep quality tends to improve around this time as well. Since blood sugar spikes can interfere with the deeper stages of sleep, removing that disruption often means falling asleep faster and waking up feeling more genuinely rested without that groggy, foggy feeling that used to take an entire cup of coffee to shake off. Some people also notice improvements in their skin during this stage, since high sugar intake is linked to inflammation. And inflammation is one of the major contributors to breakouts and premature skin aging. Some dermatologists even point to a process called glycation, where excess sugar molecules attach to collagen fibers and make skin appear less firm over time, a process that naturally slows down once sugar intake drops. Moving into weeks 3 and 4, the changes become even more noticeable to people around you, not just to yourself. Inflammation throughout the body continues to decrease, which can mean less joint stiffness, clearer skin, and even a reduction in bloating. Your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your digestive system, also begins to shift in this window. Sugar tends to feed less beneficial bacteria and yeast in the gut, and when that supply is cut off, healthier bacteria have more room to thrive. This shift has been linked to improved digestion and even a more stable mood, since a significant portion of your body's serotonin, a key mood-regulating chemical, is actually produced in the gut. Many people report feeling noticeably calmer and more emotionally steady by this point, without fully understanding why, and this is very likely the reason. Friends and family often notice this shift before you even mention it, simply because the irritability from earlier in the process has completely faded and been replaced by a much steadier baseline mood. By the 1 to 3 month mark, the changes become deeply rooted rather than temporary. Insulin sensitivity improves significantly, meaning your body requires less insulin to manage blood sugar effectively, which lowers your long-term risk of developing insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Cravings at this stage are typically minimal, and many people find that their old favorite sugary foods now taste overwhelmingly sweet, almost unpleasantly so, to the point where a soda they used to love now tastes closer to drinking straight syrup. Weight management also tends to become far easier during this window, not necessarily because of calorie counting, but because stable blood sugar naturally reduces hunger spikes and impulsive snacking throughout the day. Long-term studies have also linked sustained low sugar intake to a reduced risk of heart disease, since excess sugar contributes to elevated triglycerides and inflammation in blood vessels over time. Even dental health tends to improve during this stretch, since the bacteria responsible for cavities feed directly on sugar, and simply removing their fuel source gives your mouth a real chance to recover. So, to recap, in the first 24 hours, your blood sugar starts stabilizing, while your brain fights back with intense cravings. By day 2 or 3, the sugar flu hits hardest, with fatigue, irritability, and brain fog. By day 7, cravings start loosening their grip, and your taste buds begin to reset. By week 2, energy stabilizes and sleep improves. By weeks 3 and 4, inflammation drops, and your gut and mood shift for the better. And by month 1 to 3, your insulin sensitivity, weight, and long-term health markers all move in a genuinely positive direction. The hardest part is always the first few days, but almost everyone who pushes through says the exact same thing. They wish they had done it sooner. And just like building any real discipline, the goal was never to suffer through it once and go back to old habits. It was to prove to your own body that it could run on something steadier and more sustainable the whole time. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found this video valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. And I'll see you in the next one.